Muy buenas noches, bienvenidos a su programa Al Ritmo del Arte. Yo soy Carmina Cortés desde la bella ciudad de Chicago, en vivo y a todo color, y se vale compartir el programa, así que pongan allí sus likes, también compartan el programa y ayúdenme a darle la bienvenida a mi querida amiga y colega María Calderón. ¿Cómo estás, María?
Hola, muy bien. ¿Y tú, Carmina?
Bien, feliz porque México calificó ahora. Sí. We're going to play against
I was like, what?
Brasil.
Es que
Soccer.
como yo no sigo, o sea, deportes, porque va una bola a un lado al otro y siempre es lo mismo. So, me dio mucho gusto que México perdió, pero
Pero calificamos.
gracias a Corea.
Yes.
So, pero whatever. I don't
Y no
care.
me pude poner mi camiseta verde que me trajiste de México porque pues, tenemos el green screen.
Oh, yeah.
Nomás se viera mi cabecita y pues por eso traigo mi blusa mexicana.
Well, hey, you're representing.
I am
So,
representing.
it's pretty cool.
Bueno, hoy les tenemos un programa fabuloso porque tenemos, no sé si puedan ver por allí, que tenemos arte, cerámica de arte, para que vean las diferentes cositas que tenemos por aquí de un artista local, ¿verdad, María?
Sí, la muchacha se llama Liz McCarthy. Fíjate que uno de estos días estaba cuando llegué de Joaquín hacia el estudio, vi que aquí a dos puertas está un estudio y están haciendo cosas de cerámica, trabajando con barro. Digo, bueno, pues qué onda, déjame ver, veo de metiche, ¿no? Entonces me gustó lo que estaban haciendo. Me habían comentado que Carmina has reached out to them, pero a lo mejor se nos olvidó, no sé. Digo, bueno, no se preocupen, pues de todos modos, Carmina already reached out to you, just come over. Entonces se decidió que viniera y pues he visto las fotos que ella tiene en su página de internet, Jennifer Mira, el artista, LizMcCarthy.com, y se me hicieron muy interesantes porque, pues, siempre se está promoviendo los artistas locales, especialmente su arte, porque es muy importante para, como hemos dicho, es terapia.
Así es. Y bueno, tenemos saludos, antes de que vayamos al video, tenemos saludos de Adriana Pavón desde Oaxaca, México. Les mando un gran abrazo, bellas. Gracias, Adriana, gracias por siempre estar con nosotros los miércoles por la noche. Y también Yamel por ahí, a ver cuándo Yamel viene a nuestro programa, porque también ella ya
ya calificó para venir al programa.
Yamel, aquí tenemos tu espacio esperándote para que vengas a hablar un poquito de tu arte, que toca corazones de los niños por todo Illinois, así que te esperamos. Y sí, como María estaba diciendo, sí, yo llegué y les dejé mi tarjeta, y dice ella que me mandó un email, pero pues que se rebotó, no sé qué pasó. Pero bueno, lo bueno que ya está aquí ella y nos va a hablar un poquito sobre su arte, de lo que hace. La entrevista va a estar hecha bilingüe, porque ya saben que el programa Al Ritmo del Arte es bilingüe, por la simple razón de que la primera generación como nosotros, como María y como yo, vivimos en los dos idiomas. Vivimos en el español y vivimos en el inglés, pensamos en español, pensamos en inglés.
Y hablamos Spanglish.
Y hablamos español, sí. Entonces, por esa simple razón, para poder llegar a más personas, el programa se ha vuelto bilingüe. Claro, la mayoría del tiempo hablamos español, pero la entrevista la haremos en inglés, así si hablan puro español, vayan sacando su diccionario, porque va a ser muy interesante esa entrevista, porque ya de solamente ver las piezas de arte, yo ya tengo 1000 preguntas. Así que se vale compartir este programa, denle share, compártanlo, no se queden con no sean selfish, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Hay que empezar a compartir el programa. Si no nos has dado un like a nuestra página de Al Ritmo del Arte, por favor, danos un like, y ahí ponemos todo lo que está sucediendo en todos lados de Estados Unidos hasta en México, que nos mandan eventos. Por ahí también vi que estaba Tamika viendo, le mandamos un saludo a Tamika, fue a ver la obra.
Oye, ¿cómo te fue?
Oh my God, Tamika, fabuloso. Entonces les recomiendo, no sé si se acuerdan ustedes, en los que nos ven regularmente, tuvimos al elenco de The Troya aquí en el estudio. El viernes pasado fue un honor ir a ver esta obra de teatro y se las recomiendo. Por ahí en nuestra página pondremos la información una vez más de esta obra que está aquí en Chicago. Es un teatro muy acogedor, chiquito. El elenco es fenomenal y Tamika Lachey Morales es una de las artistas y está increíble.
Y esta obra termina este sábado,
este fin de semana.
el 30 de junio, ¿correcto?
Sí,
entonces,
este fin de semana.
Si no han ido a ver la obra de teatro, se les sugiere que por favor vayan, la vean,
sí,
apóyenla, porque siempre es muy importante apoyarnos entre todos uno mismo, para que sigamos trayendo obras de arte como esa.
De una vez voy a poner aquí la información porque por aquí la tenemos en nuestra página de Al Ritmo del Arte. Se las voy a poner, así que si no le has dado un like a nuestra página de Al Ritmo del Arte, tienes que ir ahorita mismo a darle un like porque voy a compartir la información de esta obra, dónde la puedes ir a ver, porque ahorita, así como top of my head, I can't remember, y'all. Yo no me acuerdo qué comí ayer, ¿cómo voy a acordar dónde fue la obra, verdad? Entonces ve, darnos un like y Al Ritmo del Arte. Y ahí te pongo la información y al ratito, si tenemos un break, te damos la información al aire. ¿Qué tal? ¿Verdad que sí?
Claro que sí.
Y bueno, vamos a ir a un pequeño break y regresamos con nuestra artista que viene a hablar un poquito de su cerámica, porque su lugar aquí, que está como media cuadra,
two doors down.
Yeah. Tiene aquí en Pilsen, tiene un estudio donde puedes ir tú también, si tú vives aquí en Chicago, puedes ir a aprender a hacer cerámica. Así que no te vayas, ya regresamos, te dejamos con un video para que veas lo que hace esta artista. Y bueno, ya estamos de regreso aquí en su programa El Ritmo del Arte y tenemos los artistas aquí con nosotros. ¿Cómo ven del video? Pongan sus comentarios, denos a saber qué piensan ustedes del arte de aquí. Y bueno, se lo voy a pasar a María para que empecemos la entrevista. ¿Cómo ves, María?
I love it. It's therapy for my soul. I don't know about you, but for me, it definitely is. Okay, speechless. Anyway, I wanted to introduce to you Liz McCarthy and her student, or business.
My assistant.
Your assistant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
From
Narware Workshop
Cool.
is the name of the business. Yeah.
and what is the business about?
Sure. So we do classes, workshops, and studio rentals. So it ends up being sometimes people come in with no experience and are working on projects that they're interested in, kind of just like working through ideas and trying out new things. And some people come in that have lots of experience, and so they come in and are just using the ceramic studio to kind of accomplish what they want to make. So it's a lot of artists, but then also hobbyists that are interested in just learning more.
So is this your shop, or is this like a little group of artists that came together and decided, hey, let's make a workshop here?
So it's sort of my shop, but then I created this space because there was I felt like a real demand for a need for a ceramic studio in the area and within my community. So I decided to open the space just because a lot of people didn't have access, like within this sort of radius, as a sort of open studio space. And so it was really thinking about like who the artists that I know directly and sort of what they needed, and and then kind of fulfilling that.
Right. We just passed the video, and it's a specific art. I just want to touch base a little bit on that before we go on with the other ceramic art that you do, because that was passed first, and people will be like, well, what happened here? Does that video pertain with the conversation that we're having here? Can you just give us a little bit of background on what the video is about?
Sure. So I myself am an artist, and I teach in various places throughout the city, and then I'm also running Narware as a sort of workshop that's encouraging a community of people to kind of come together and make work and really express themselves. And I myself have an art practice, and I'm sort of thinking a lot about the body and thinking about materiality of the body. And as a sort of female body, I'm definitely thinking about gaze and thinking about how my own material body is changing and being formed throughout my entire experience. And so that's from a series called Mature Female, where I'm literally sort of referencing both pornographic scenes, but then also traditions of clay making. So sort of thinking about these traditional ways that we think about material, whether it's a clay material or whether it's a body material, and these expectations that we have and a desire for outcome, or desire for the outcome of the body to produce something, and sort of going through these processes as a way of sort of maybe interrogating ways of not participating within these modes of gaze, and then also modes of making in new ways, and making in maybe more productive ways.
Thank you, and I like that answer, because a lot of people would be questioning, and it's like, okay, well, you have to understand the reason behind it from the artists themselves. Carmina?
I just want to say that I totally understand the need to form and to create. And when I was watching the video, I was thinking what you just said a lot better than I did, that I'm going to say probably. The way that we transform ourselves in clay, and using the clay, how we transform the clay as well, our body, and how the beauty comes out of the clay, but we're also beautiful. So I was just thinking, connecting the beauty of everything together, and how everything's just a circle.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's like one thing that's really amazing about clay and like ceramic material in general, is that what you can mold an object, and until you fire it, you can still break that object down again. So the clay can be reused and turned into something else. So you kind of have this like constant kind of changing in the material. And I think as human bodies, we're always changing. We're always sort of in flux and sort of developing as we go through an experience. And so in some ways, we are sort of similar to this like
Yes.
moist clay that's kind of just constantly changing, constantly being sort of remolded.
And we also have to support our gay community, our trans community. It's a lot of people, still see it as a taboo type thing, and it's not, because,
Especially in our Latino community.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it's seen as a taboo. But I think the newer generation now is more accepting. We're accepting everybody how they are. It's just, it's the older generation that we need to have a conversation with.
Right.
And also, one of the things that you were saying, that the community, your studio is made for the community. Did you know that Pilsen came out as one of the best communities to live in because of the art? It was just recently in, can't remember what.
I think I saw that article.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I've been here 9 years, and so I originally moved here and started an art space over in 21st, and ran that for 3 years. And definitely it was like mostly just because this is such an amazing community. There's so many people participating, so many people interested.
Absolutely.
Pilsen has this like intense, rich history of just, really encouraging the arts and sort of interrogating what that means to be an arts community.
And then, can I ask you, what is your background in art? Did you go to art school? Did you start young? Can you tell us a little bit of how you started out?
My dad does a lot of dance and improv storytelling, and then my mom also does pottery as well, and so definitely grew up with that as a background. And then I went to University of North Carolina, Asheville, and was there and sort of did liberal arts. And then a group of friends moved to Pilsen to start this art space, and we ran that for a while. And then I actually went back and got an MFA at UIC. And now I'm, been working basically 9 years in Chicago in different sort of, as a curator, as an artist, as an arts organizer, and sort of changing roles within that. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
What about you, assistant? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Brian. I work for Liz at the Nightwear Workshop. I'm originally from Virginia. I relocated here last August, so it hasn't even been a year yet.
How are the winters? Do you like? Oh, it's cold in Virginia too, right? It's colder.
It is cold. Not for as long, but it's cold.
Not for as long.
And I moved here in August. I met Liz. I have my background is solely in ceramics. I studied in the craft and materials studies at Virginia Commonwealth University, and then I up and left and came here and just met Liz, and we opened up the Nightwear Workshop a few months later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the whole community thing too, bringing the community together to create art, is totally amazing. Do you teach children as well?
Yeah, I teach at Marwin. I've taught in like different kind of programs in public schools. I've worked with Sky Art, and then I'll actually be teaching at the Art Institute in the fall and spring. Yeah.
Oh, Carmina's going to love you even more because she loves the Art Institute, and she went there.
I graduated from the Art
Oh,
Institute.
awesome.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
So I love it there, and I always want to go back to get my MFA.
Yeah.
But once you have kids, it's like the kids come first, and then the art comes later. But one of these
She's
days.
your art. Your baby's your art. That's your masterpiece.
Yeah, I have two babies, my real baby and my art. So it's a little harder when you have the real baby.
Right.
So have you exhibited around Chicago by any chance?
Yes, quite a bit. And so, I show at lots of different galleries. I actually have a show up right now in LA at Ghibli Gallery.
Oh.
I have a show coming up at the Hyde Park Art Center in the September.
That's a nice place.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I just did a show at the Riverside Art Center. So I've kind of exhibited throughout kind of Chicago. I have a show up right now at Sector 2337, and July 28th, I'm actually doing a performance there that is called Handel's Expenditure, and so it's about making these Handel forms
That's cool. That's really interesting. How can the public contact you? How can they reach you? Where are you located at?
Yeah, totally. Well, you can just come by the studio. I'm at 1838 West Cermak, and we have lots of work by different artists that are in the space. You can see people making things in the space. And then the workshop for that, the website for that is narwareworkshop.com, and it's GNAR, sort of like gnarly. So we were thinking about kind of not traditional sort of ceramics, but sort of more gnarly wares in a way, or something that's a little bit gnarly.
I was like, gnar, and I'm like, there's an artist, right? I forgot what's the other name that goes with that. And what's that word? What's the musician? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Noir?
Gnarly something. Never mind. I'm just going. My brain is cuckoo today. Can you tell us more about the type of programs that you teach? I mean, what do you teach? What are you teaching right now downstairs?
Sure. So at Narware right now we have a Clay 101, which is just a very basic sort of intro to hand building. So it's like really going through what is clay as a material, how do you use it, and then we also have wheel throwing. Brian is actually going to be teaching a lidded form workshop, and so it's like pieces that are thrown on the wheel, and then how to kind of create forms, and then that like lids on the form. And then we also do kind of drop-in workshops. So we're actually partnering with Talia Hall and are going to do like a little pop-up workshop over there that's like a folded mug workshop.
Oh, wow.
But then we're also running kids workshops on the weekends. If you look at our calendar, there's sort of dates that have kids pop-in workshops. So if you want to bring your kids over for like a 2-hour workshop on the weekend, those are up. And so it's kind of a whole range of things. And so it's different kind of skill levels. We have lots of classes for beginners, and especially as a new workshop, we're really focusing on beginners and kind of getting people in. And then there's a lot of established members that just rent the space and are using the space constantly. And do you want to add to that, Brian?
Oh, you said it pretty well.
So my question is, the process usually is, will the kids do the clay, then you guys fire it, and then they have to come back and put the slip or the color, and then you guys fire it again. So do the kids have to come back?
So when I work with kids,
Yeah.
I usually just use underglaze.
Okay.
Because it's really way more straightforward. They can just paint the piece, be done with it. And then, so it's a one-time kind of drop-in, and then you come back 2 weeks later and your piece is like totally done. I'll clear glaze it. It's good to go. You don't have to worry about it. But then there is a lot of glaze, and so if you do want to do something more complex and kind of keep coming in and working, there's different options for that. I have another workshop coming up in July that's called the Pinch Pot Teapot, and so you get to make like basically a tea set. You're making like a teapot and teacups and sugar, all like in a pinch pot method.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What are your prices? What do they range?
Sure. So that is a 2-day workshop, and that's $60 total. And so that includes clay, that includes glaze. But then when I do 6-week classes, those are about $195, and then 4-week classes are $135. And then,
Not bad.
yeah,
That's pretty good. That's a good price.
I hope so.
Yes, that's a really good price. Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can that be like a mommy and me project?
Yes, so we definitely are super interested in encouraging drop-in workshops too. And so a drop-in session, you just come in, you can like email me and be like, hey Liz, I want to come with my kid. And so it'll be $35 for an adult, $30 for kid. You just come in, I can do a 20-minute tutorial for people, and then you just get a day pass to basically work in the studio.
And work with as much clay as we want?
You get 3 pounds and then unlimited. And then if you want more clay to work with, it's $2 per pound.
I could see Maria with all these bags of clay already.
Yeah, because I was talking to her about it, and I've been looking for some clay sugar skulls because my event's coming up in October,
yes.
and I have to start working on it. And I was talking to her, and I'm like, you know what? I buy some sugar skulls from Michael's, but they're plaster, and plaster is really not a good
material
to work with, because if you just jab on it for a little bit and it just comes out, and versus clay, and then, you know, I was gonna bring some sugar skulls from Mexico, but they come broken or they're not to how I want them. Being an artist, we think perfection, right? Something we're
Right.
perfectionists, and it's like, okay, I don't want it this way. And well, when I saw her shop, and I'm like, oh, sugar skulls. And it's just, I'm seeing sugar skulls all over, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited, and hopefully Maria and I will be able to work together and do a workshop where we can have
and-
people come in.
And it'll
Yeah.
be a Ritmo del Arte workshop, no?
Yeah,
Right?
we're about to take it together and sponsor media. And we'll promote it through the air, through our.
Or maybe we can even go downstairs.
And film from there.
Yes, yeah,
absolutely.
come on by.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Gali would love this.
Yeah.
My daughter, I have an 8-year-old who. I'm
yeah.
sure you. Well, I'm the only artist in my house. My husband's not an artist. He's left brain. I'm sure you were brought up with art all over, like you were mentioning. So my daughter is the same way. So she started drawing and painting at 9 months.
Whoa.
And so that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we could have kids over there and do some stuff together, and
Yeah,
it's awesome.
We've
Awesome.
done some birthday parties, and I've definitely had like parents and kids come in and hang out and make stuff. And so it's been like, yeah, so there's definitely kind of been a whole range of sort of people that are starting to come into this space and use this space.
And what are the hours when you have programs, or people that just want to drop by after hours, can they do so, or?
Sure. So we are open from Wednesday until Sunday from noon until 8. And so those are times that you can come in and use the space if you want to do drop-ins. Sometimes within that time range, there will be a class, which you can always check the calendar and see if there's like a class happening. But even if there's a class happening, sometimes there'll be somebody that will be there that will be able to help you, especially if you sort of make an appointment, like, hey, I want to come in at this time, and then, you know, I can make myself available, or be like, well, actually, there's a class at that time. Maybe you can come at this time.
You're very flexible.
Very flexible,
Yeah, very
yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
So if someone has a birthday and they say, hey, you know what, I want to have my birthday here, or is your shop available for after hours?
Yep, totally. I am like very open to kind of, yeah, especially if you wanted to do sort of a BYOB like ladies' night birthday party, and,
that's
you know,
cool.
bring wine. That could suddenly be from like, you know, 8 to 11 p.m. rather than, you know, somewhere within like 6 to 8 p.m. So
Right,
lots of different options.
Well, that's really interesting. And I'm really glad that you guys came up here, because we also have some art pieces here of yours and your students and your assistant, right? That we should talk about. How about if we start with from that side, from the left side?
Sure. So I kind of make two different types of objects. I make things that I think about as like my artwork, or sort of engaging within sort of a critical theory of artwork, and then I also make a lot of designed objects. So this is a piece that I made on the wheel over here, and I'm kind of carving into it and kind of using more traditional design aspects. And then Brian can talk about his.
Is this Brian's?
Yeah, this is Brian's.
Yeah. That's mine. It's a Dutch oven. It's a lidded vessel. It's sort of what I'll be teaching during my
Heavy.
class.
Oh, it's nice inside.
Yeah, I made it so I could make bread.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
we are
I
actually,
love the texture.
in the next couple months, we are transitioning the workshop to also have a store aspect. So there
Oh,
will
that's
be,
awesome.
yeah, so there'll be designed objects that are actually for sale. We have some designed objects right now, but it's like, I've been focusing so much on kind of getting all the classes and operations going that we haven't been focusing on as much. But soon, yes.
Is, Brian, is your piece made on the wheel too?
Yeah, it's completely wheel thrown with a pulled handle.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm not too familiar with, you know, with that type of art, but it just reminded me of the movie Ghost.
Yeah.
You kind of look like Demi Moore right there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's so nice inside, Maria. It's like perfect.
Yeah, I
It's
was
like
looking at
perfection.
it, and it reminds me of the art that we have in Mexico too, when we have, you know, when we cook the mole and all that stuff. So it's really nice.
Yeah, the work that the like pottery that comes out of Mexico is just like mind blowing. It's
Well,
like
thank you.
yeah, it's really amazing. And like a lot of the earthenware technology is so much embedded in sort of like, how do we cool this? How do we heat this over fire? And so it's really like, especially, just looking at the clay bodies and the way that it's been used, it's just like amazing how innovative this like science is between, kind of to use this material.
So looking at your website, LizMcCarthy.com, correct? Or
Liz-McCarthy.
Liz-McCarthy.com. Yep. You can see these pieces in her website, right? I'm not sure if I saw Brian's piece there, but I saw these two.
So that one is on so a lot of the sort of designed objects are on the Narware site, which is the Narware workshop, and then a lot of my art pieces are on the Liz McCarthy site. And so this object is actually a whistle, and so these are part of larger performances where I'm actually sort of playing these objects. And if you want to bring it over here, I can actually play it. So. So these are meant for multiple people to play at once.
Oh, so can you do it again? Production says with your microphone. Cool. So all 4 parts make different whistle noises?
Yep, correct. Yep.
And how do you whistle the other one?
What do you mean? I built it so that it was like impossible. So you can struggle, but.
So I just wanted to show the audience that the whistle that I'm talking about is the one in the middle. I don't know if we can see it or zoom in, but this is really cool. I like it. For some reason, I thought this was some sort of choral type thing, but then when you were talking about whistle, it makes more sense.
Yeah, so this specific piece, I have a Chihuahua, and it's been directly referencing the body of my Chihuahua, so that was where the inspiration for that.
I was just going to ask, what was the inspiration for it? You just answered my question.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So when you do the performance piece, do you sit on the floor and play it, and how?
So the one I did most recently, they were like on a series of boards, and I had 2 performers, and so they're kind of like playfully kind of using the objects, and so like I'm kind of asking them to sort of think about these different positions of the body that you might kind of like hold yourself in vulnerable positions, and so they kind of have to like collaborate in order to kind of play the whistles together, because often they're sort of using the same mouthpieces.
Right.
And the bodies, these like kind of whistle bodies become sort of cumbersome, and so they're kind of, collaborating to kind of work with these objects. Yeah.
So for those that don't know what performance art is, some people may not know. Do you want to explain it a little bit, or do you want me to do it?
Maybe you got it.
So art performance is when you also use your body parts, or somehow, it's not acting really, we're not acting, but there's part of acting involved, and you're using different, like in this case she uses this piece, but other people use different objects. One performance piece that I love and I've seen over and over again, and I can't remember the name of the artist right now, but you'll probably know who I'm talking about, where she sits down and she stares at people as they come into the museum, and they sit down in front of her, and then her ex-boyfriend comes in and sits in front of her, and she looks at him, she starts crying, and that is an amazing performance. That I can't remember the name of the artist right now, but I've seen it so many times. Every time I see it, I cry.
That's a Marina Abramovich piece?
Yes, yes, that's what it is. So that is performance art. So, because I know there's people who don't.
Yeah, totally. And with these, it's like I'm thinking about my objects as sculptures. Like they're definitely, obviously, sculptures. But then what happens when these sculptures, kind of come to life in a way, when they're sort of used or sort of activated, and then they suddenly become a performance object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Marina was also the one that where she's naked, and people come up to her and they put things on her body and they can use her body any way that you want to use her body. You do whatever you want to her as well. So that's another way of performance as well.
I also wanted to point out that we have a viewer, Gabi. Thank you. She says, terapia para el alma, therapy for the soul. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks that way.
Well, the reason why the show was created 5 years ago was to empower the Latino community through art. Because unfortunately, the Latino community does not see art as something of importance.
You don't think so?
Now, I think our generation does.
Yeah.
Now we do. But I think at the time when we started this, it was more to empower through the arts and to see that art does have an effect in our lives. And I think it came about also because as a teacher, the parents would be like, oh, it's art. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so I got a lot of that. And that's why when I got those responses from the parents, I said, wait, I think my Latino community is not seeing art the way I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think especially for the Latino community, it's really important for, people to be making artwork because it's also expressing, to people that are not within the community what your experience is like.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of friends that are like sort of within the Latino community. We have actually Moises Salzar sort of helps at the studio and does a lot of translation for me over there. Mm-hmm. And he makes a lot of work that's about his sort of like undocumented family and sort of undocumented parents and sort of what this experience is like to travel,
we need to have him
through. He's incredible. You should definitely have him.
Okay, so we need to have him come in and talk about that.
Yeah, but I think just like, existing within a world that really is shutting you out. And what does that look like on a material level? What does that look like on a visual level? How do we explore this experience? And so how can people that do not have, Moises's experience enter into Moises's work and sort of understand that experience, through that artwork?
Yeah, and expressing ourselves through art also heals us in a way. Well, from my experience, I think through my art, it's more of a healing and more of a expression that like you said, we want people to come into our world and just giving them a little bit of who we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
totally.
that's what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I also have a hard time selling my pieces. A lot of people are like, hey, how much is this? And I'm like, $1,000. And they're like, okay, no. And so to me, it's like, okay, I know people want the art pieces, but sometimes as an artist, it's part of your life. That's your history right there, that you know that you created that piece from the bottom of your heart, and, you don't want to let go, but, and there's studies that show that art is very therapeutic, and it's very important. That's why it's also taught in schools.
So is it easy for you to let go of your art?
That's a good question. I have a project that I do called the Whistle Project, Whistle Hangouts. And in that piece, I make pieces that are for giving away for free. The entire project is about just giving away these whistles for free.
Wow.
Not these pieces, but they're kind of like smaller, like giveaway objects. And so the whole practice has become about just giving things away and like kind of letting people have them and make meaning out of them on their own. But definitely, like, there are some pieces that I like make, and I've spent so much time and effort on it. It's hard to kind of like let it go.
There's some of your whistles, right?
Yep, that's those are whistle pieces, and so that one can be like turned, and so this one is meant to be played like cheek to cheek. Yeah,
that's cool. I want to hear more about Brian here. Tell us more about.
What would you like to know?
Ooh, let's get personal here.
Personal.
Tell us more about your artwork. We saw one of your pieces. What else do you do?
More recently, since I've moved here, is this not close enough? More recently, since I've moved here, I've been focusing on utilitarian objects, which are pretty much objects with a function. More recently, the Dutch ovens, as well as other lidded vessels. And in terms of my other practice, before I did make sculptures and paintings as well, but more recently I've been focusing on my utilitarian objects.
Do you feel that this type of art is therapeutic for you, or why do you specialize in this type of art?
There's definitely a therapeutic quality of wheel throwing. I think a lot of people, that's like why a lot of people gravitate towards the wheel. It's also like learning how to use your hands. I think that's like the hardest part of wheel throwing. You have hands, you use them all the time, but do you actually know where they are in relation to your body? And that is what wheel throwing is, sort of at its core. And my interest with utilitarian wear is sort of the like more like subversive qualities that it has. You know, these are like a handmade cup or plate or Dutch oven or bowl. They're things you incorporate into your life. They don't necessarily make your life easier. Like if you have a handmade cup, you probably have to wash it by hand, or you can't use it in the microwave, or they're not all the same, so they don't stack and they don't like fit, and they're not like easily put into your life. So you kind of have to go out of your way to use them, like a teapot. Like most people don't actually use teapots. Teapots are more decorative. They just stand in the cupboard, or they're something to look at. They're not something to use, but people can use them, and you have to go out of your way to use that. So what does it mean to sort of like fit these objects into your life?
Got it. Very interesting. I hope that our viewers can come to the shop and check out Liz McCarthy and Brian's work and be enrolled in the program. Where can they reach you at again?
You can email me at narware. So narware is GNARWARE workshop at gmail.com. And then that's also narware.com. And then so you can just email me there. And I think that you guys will probably post some of that information on Facebook. So you can email me. You can also call me and just ask questions at 815-575-2072 if you just want to call me up and chat.
Cool. I wanted to mention that artist that I was talking about, because people might think, oh my God, Maria's crazy today. But I want to say that it was Nars Barkley.
Oh, yeah, Nars Barkley, yes.
Okay, now, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I know that artist. And I'm like, oh, this sounds like this artist, your shop's name. Okay, change topic. Do you have any more?
Any more questions? Let's see. Well, Brian hasn't told us about, is it hard for you to let go of your art pieces? Like sell them?
I don't sell anything.
That's not true.
That's a true artist.
No, Brian does sell things. He had a bunch of really awesome mugs that he's been selling.
I give things away a lot of the times.
Yeah.
A lot of things just sit on the shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is so typical of an artist too, right? Because, they're like, okay, how much is this? And then, like I was saying, okay, $1,000, but then if you ask me, Maria, can I buy your art? And I'm like, just keep it. I'm not going to be charging, and I don't like charging for pieces of art that came from my heart, because to me it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't value them, but you're my friend, and if you like it, take it.
Well, it's a piece of your soul that you're giving away, really, because you spend so much time either in ceramics or a painting or a mixed media, that your energy stays in that piece, and you're giving that energy away to somebody, and you want to make sure that it's going to the right home sometimes.
Right.
I think also the thing that I've been learning as I'm starting to run this business and sort of working with objects and sort of thinking about selling things is that when we're making artwork, I think so much of it is about the idea rather than and the sort of object is a reflection of that idea.
Right.
But then there's a sort of secondary sort of capitalist experience where we sort of have to understand that in order, to make money off of that, it has to participate within a market.
Correct.
That suddenly pulls those ideas away from it. And so that can be kind of a hard divide of like, this is my idea, but then what happens when my idea has to be sold or my idea has to be. And so I think, running a business, it's like, starting to understand that I can frame things the way that I want to frame things, and I can sell things the way I want to sell things.
Right.
But sometimes as an artist, you see that am I a sellout because I'm selling my stuff?
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot, because that's the way our right brain works. We're like, wait, I'm selling out now. I'm going to become more commercialized, and you don't want to be commercialized as an artist. You don't want to be known. But people sometimes do want your art because they admire your art, and they want to
Right.
have beautiful things in your house. But then, in my case, I become selfish, and I'll be like, no, it's staying in my house.
Right, exactly.
So we have 5 more minutes, but before we go, if I could do like a little tiny commercial. So you might be interested in this. I love going to plays. I love plays. So we had the cast of the Troya here a few weeks back, and this is their last. Oh no, what happened? This is their last weekend. Es la última semana para ver la obra de Troya. Y es el Halcon Theater. Did I say that right? Probably not.
Halcyon.
Halcyon Theater. There we go. And it is, Maria, can you see that?
3255 West Wilson Avenue in Chicago. And let's see. And it's
June 28th.
28th, Thursday, tomorrow at
Oh,
8 p.m. And then Friday at 8 p.m. And then again, the last show would be Saturday at 8 p.m.
Yes. So, and the beauty of this theater is if you don't have money to pay the $20, they have a certain amount of tickets reserved that you could get for free. So I suggest you go see it before, and it's a wonderful play. And if you're an artist and you love surrealism, did I say that right? No.
Surrealism.
Yes, thank you. You will love this play. It is amazing. So please check it out. Pusimos toda la información de la obra de teatro de Troya en nuestra página del Ritmo del Arte. Por favor, vayan a ver esta obra, apoyen lo latino, porque es una obra escrita por una latina, de una familia latina. Apoyen el arte y recuerden que si ustedes no pueden pagar los $20 del boleto, hay cierta cantidad de boletos gratis para poder ir ver esta obra, que se termina el 30 de junio. Entonces, el jueves 28 a las 8 de la noche, el viernes 29 a las 8 de la noche y el 30 de junio a las 8 de la noche. Y María les va a decir la dirección porque yo no puedo ver.
At 3255 West Wilson Avenue in Chicago. I don't remember, did they say that this play is bilingual or in English?
Tiene español y en inglés, sí.
Okay.
Pero la mayoría es en inglés, pero uno puede captar todo.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they did say that they don't suggest children under 17
No, yeah, it's not
to
for
go and
kids.
see that play. Although there's some cool parents that don't mind it, but just kidding.
Yeah, it's more for like teenagers. If you could take a
yes,
teenager,
because-
the story is based on 2 teenagers and their experience in the city. It's beautifully done. It's like something you have to go see. It's beautiful. Actors are amazing. Vayan a verlas, las recomiendo. Nomás no lleven niños chiquitos. Es para niños que estén en la high school
17
para
and
arriba.
over.
Yeah. Sí. Ok. Eso es todo lo que yo tengo por hoy.
Just to close out, what do you want to tell someone, or a student comes to you and you see them kind of down, and how would you tell them, hey, art's for you? Or how about if you get what's going on in your mind through art, through clay art?
Sure. I mean, I think that as humans, we like to explore and learn new things constantly. And, taking a clay class, I think, is a way of doing that. A way of sort of also pushing the way that you use your body in a new way to explore sort of new motor skills, sort of new ways of sort of acting on material. Yeah. Do you agree, Brian?
I do agree, and I also think it's good to try new things.
So is there an advice about being an artist that you want to give somebody out there behind the camera who's thinking about becoming an artist?
I think just fall in love with what you're doing and, really be in love with yourself and believe in what you believe and figure out what you do believe and really invest yourself in it.
Brian, what do you think? What would you give? What
Still
advice?
figuring it out
Are you
So,
shy?
a little bit.
Oh my God, when Carmina and I go downstairs, that shy is gonna go away.
Probably.
Yeah.
We're working with Jenny behind the camera over there.
Yeah, our production engineer over
Production,
there.
yeah, she's like, half of the time she has to cover her ears, but it's okay.
And she's cracking up right now.
Bueno, eso es todo por esta noche. Les damos las gracias por estar con nosotros. Si quieren saber un poquito más sobre el arte de la cerámica, lo pondremos toda la información donde pueden contactar a Liz, where you can contact her. We will put everything on our page of Al Ritmo del Arte. Please go to our page, like it, and you will have all the information. I also put the information on the Puerto Rican Museum. I was there today. It was amazing. They have an
Awesome. Where is that?
That's in Humboldt Park, right in dead center of Humboldt Park. It used to be a horse stable. And it's beautiful in there. I just went in there because I just thought it was a beautiful place. And I went and I saw the exhibit. They have a wonderful exhibit. You have to see it. So I'll put the information on our page they have actually, you'll probably be interested in this. They will have July 14th and 15th, I believe. Don't quote me. I will put it on our page. They're going to have like a bazaar of artists. And they're not charging much. And so they have different artists in the community come out there, put their stuff up for sale, and they have food, music, and art. You can't go wrong, right? So I will put the information up soon once I receive that. Thank you so much. And parte mía, gracias por estar con nosotros esta noche. María?
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys having me on tonight and talking to me, and it's been great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and being part of the show. And please come up anytime. Brian, you're invited anytime you want to come up and talk.
Yes, to get that
I
shyness
had
out
no
of
idea
here.
you were here. Just 2 doors down.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Esto fue Al Ritmo del Arte.